Now, South Africa's universities have launched the Forum for Entrepreneurship Development Centres to develop the country's universities as entrepreneurship and innovation centres, an ambitious initiative aimed at reducing poverty by stimulating South Africa's universities as hotbeds of innovation and entrepreneurship. Joining me now to explain the initiative is Dr. Teddy Blecher. He is, of course, the chair of the Higher Education and Human Resources Development Council's Enabling Entrepreneurship Technical Task Team, and he is joined by Dr. Engela van Staden. She is the Chief Director in the Department of Higher Education and Training. Thank you so much for making the time to join me. Firstly, Teddy, are universities the most ideal place to foster innovation and entrepreneurship? And why, if so, why is this realization so late?
Yes. So universities definitely play a massive role around the world. So if you look at the US, for example, the hottest companies in the world today, Google started on Stanford's campus, Facebook started on Harvard's campus, Dell Computers started on University of Texas campus. So many, I mean, there are thousands and tens of thousands of the biggest businesses in the world that started on university campuses. And generally, universities are the people in the country that get to be highly educated, they're intellectual elite, they have the kind of creativity, etc. And so this, we feel, is a massive opportunity for South Africa if we stimulate entrepreneurship, how it can ultimately deal with many more jobs being created and poverty being alleviated.
Angela, why is South Africa so late in the game?
Well, I don't think South Africa is late in the game. I think it is with our new administration, our new minister, Dr. Bladen Zamandi. He has the vision, and he has actually communicated that in the green paper, which we hope soon to be a white paper, that we need to do something, and that we cannot only produce job seekers, that we have to create job creators, and that we, through that kind of initiative, can reduce the poverty line in South Africa.
Angela, as we make that transition from creating job seekers to job creators, what are the structural changes that South African universities might have to make in order to meet that mandate?
Well, we've challenged the universities at this moment, and we've asked them to differentiate themselves and to understand and to actually establish them in a different role within South Africa. And one of the areas that we have asked them to consider is looking at entrepreneurship development. What can they do? And the challenge is in the court of the universities at this moment.
A lot of studies, Teddy, have shown that South African or young South Africans have somewhat of a weaker appetite when it comes to the uptake for entrepreneurship. What accounts for this?
That's exactly right. And this is something that we're wanting to change. So one of the things we've done on our entrepreneurial task team is we've created a council of patrons, people like Sir Richard Branson, Herman Mashaba, so many top entrepreneurs, people who've made billions, who've been extremely successful. And we're creating a series of television shows, radio shows, on university campuses throughout the country. We want to create a new National Entrepreneurial Week, Entrepreneurial Olympiads, things like that, competitions, making it exciting so that young people start to see entrepreneurship is it's not for old grannies and things like that. This is for young, upcoming, it's vibrant, this is how you can make it in the world. And this is really a message we want to get across to the youth.
But of course, for South Africans, the most tangible outcome of a forum of this nature would be an impact on the unemployment numbers, which are sitting at a record high level of 48%. Now, is there a target that you've set yourself, or are you exempt from setting a target because you're a forum and not a council?
Okay, that's a good point. Engela?
I think the forum, what we've tried to establish is the first in South Africa that we have actually created such a forum. And the forum is meant to look at ways and means how to improve entrepreneurship and trying to give a voice to entrepreneurship within the higher education sector. And they have to come up with an action plan so that we can see what we have to do as universities on the one side, and as well as the department on the other side.
Is the action plan going to have a target which the universities are going to collectively work towards?
It depends on what target you're talking about. If our target is to revisit our programs and qualifications and to re-look at the curriculum content, because that's one way and one means is providing theoretical knowledge. But I think it is also looking at a practical application of actually being an entrepreneur and not only having a qualification in entrepreneurship.
On the Human Resource Development Council, we are on our Enabling Entrepreneurship Task Team, we are developing targets, and the university sector will fall within that, which is one of 4 working areas where we are working. And so how we see these targets being born about. At the moment in South Africa, there's 52 million in the population. 13 million people work in the formal sector. And of that, 70% work in small businesses. So we're saying of those small businesses, now small businesses under size of 50 employees, we're saying if each of the existing small businesses, now there are millions of small businesses, can employ another 2 people, we could get up to 800,000 to 1 million more jobs being created. And this is the type of thing that we're seeing. Now the universities, the entrepreneurial centres that exist at 14 universities in the country, we hope will open up in every university in the country. Yeah. Now if they work with the communities and help the communities to create just even 2 jobs per existing business, as well as new businesses, reaching targets of 1 million new jobs are not impossible. It requires a lot of work, a coordinated effort, but this is the type of thing we want to do.
We often hear of this rather elusive concept of the culture of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And if you can unpack for us how this culture is supposed to be ignited, what are the support mechanisms both from government, from civil society that need to be in place in order for it to thrive?
Ingela, what? Okay, great. Thank you. Well, basically, entrepreneurs we always think of as these crazy people who take major risks and go out. I always say they're the people with light in their eyes, If an entrepreneur finds you in a dark alley, they like grab you, they want to sell you something and so on. They don't want to steal your money, they want to get it honestly. But so what we want to do is we want to foster creativity. It's a mindset. Entrepreneurship is a mindset. It's all about thinking, I don't just want to get a job. I'm not only going to be a person who's going to go for the rest of my life getting paid a salary and a paycheck at the end of every month. I can create a business. I can find a gap. In fact, we launched it it was Nelson Mandela's birthday, but it also happens to be Sir Richard Branson's birthday on the 18th of July, who's on our patrons team and a great hero of entrepreneurship. So it's that kind of mindset that we want young people to learn how to think out of the box creatively, and that's how you teach. We've got to teach in a way that fosters that.
But Angela, if we look at the mindset by itself, I think just having the passion to be a Richard Branson isn't going to take you very far. What are the levers or the enablers that have to be in place to support this generation of young people who are business-minded that we're seeking to see?
Well, I think it's the kind of skills and competencies that you embed within these kids and students. Actually, they're not kids anymore, and the type of transfer of knowledge that you can actually steer them and gear them with the correct skills to actually draft a business plan, understand what accounting principle is, how to get money, and learn from the world of work how to be on the forefront of all these kind of businesses.
And obviously we're looking at universities at a tertiary level, but surely we should be looking at the internet connections or the bridge backwards towards basic education. Is the forum looking to involve basic education so that by the time we get to that tertiary level, you've got the basic fundamentals in place?
I think for the universities, we are very well aware that our feeders are from basic education, and therefore you have to link and align yourself there. One of the examples that we've called for is teacher education. Within we call it Mr. Tech, the policy for minimum requirements for teacher education. One of the areas is to understand maybe that entrepreneurship, you train your teachers to be able to teach or lecture on entrepreneurship within your schools. So that is one of the links that I can think of. But it's actually the HRDC task team that actually looking at the different areas. And it's not only at basic education, it's also further education. We also involve our FET colleges, where you actually, from a vocational point of view, is actually a very good position to become entrepreneurs.
Teddy, how different is this forum and this initiative from the existing business schools that are oftentimes associated with many universities across the country?
Okay, it's a great question. So Nozipho, the thing is that entrepreneurship doesn't just belong to business schools or business people. We need entrepreneurial engineers, entrepreneurial dentists, entrepreneurial everything. If you're going to be a fitter and turner, an artisan, a plumber in the FET colleges, as Engel is saying, or coming out of our universities in every single faculty, we need that entrepreneurial mindset, and as Engel is saying, that entrepreneurial set of skills so that these young people are equipped to ultimately build businesses. So we also see what's happening in the business schools as a great base on which to start, but now we want to really spread it.
Of course, the Department of Trade and Industry is one of your key partners in this particular forum. What is the role of the DTI in this particular forum and government broadly?
Well, I'm a great fan of the DTI, and I must say that we work extremely closely with the DTI. We have a series of chief directors in the DTI and the Department of Enterprise Development who sit on our task team, and they've helped to create each of these initiatives we've launched together with the DTI. Last year, I don't know if you heard of something called Was Online. We did it with Google. Free websites for every little business in this country. Already 50,000 businesses have opened up free websites. We're very excited about that. We launched something with Regenesis Business School that the MBA content, bachelor's degree content, all is free on the web. We're launching something with the DTI and the US government later this year, a free financing tool so that every little business can know how to find funding. So from the point of view of the university sector, where the DTI can help is with best practice, benchmarking, input, finances, and so on. So I think DTI is very committed to this idea, and we're very excited about working together with them.